But this EP, I think the longest song we have is like 3:48, something like that. So we really learned to just like neck things back and just, write, a little bit stronger choruses than we had been before.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at GhostCultMag.com, and I am once again joined by Veritas of the Suicide Puppets. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? It's good to see you again.
It's so good to see you again. How you been?
Good, man. I think the last time we saw each other was Vegas.
We did see each other in Vegas. It was wild. I really enjoyed myself out there, but I don't want to be that boomer sounding guy that went to the desert and then complained about how hot it was. But it was really unbearably hot in May, and but I had a great time. It was wonderful to see you.
Yeah, same here.
And the whole crew. And now here we are. We were like dancing around this record announcement, and now we have it. And so pleased that Beyond the Veil is here. Just about.
Yep.
By the time this runs, get this out hopefully in time for that, or right after as usual with us. And yeah, man, it's been a journey since we first met, and singles and EPs and albums and Pennsylvania Music Awards and all kinds of things. So here we are. You guys have a new deal with M&O Records. I want to make sure we don't forget to mention that. And let's just talk about that for a second. Fast forward from the worst plague times, you guys continue to write and work on your performances and tour, and now we have this deal and this new EP.
Yeah. So the M&O deal came about, I want to say towards the beginning of the year. We had actually on the EP itself, the opening track of the EP, Death Note, was just a single that we had recorded up at Legacy Recording Studios, because our friend Josh Balls, formerly of Motionless in White, really wanted to produce a song for us. He's like, come up to my studio. I just got to open up the studio up in Wilkes-Barre, PA. Come on up. Let's record something. So we recorded Death Note, and we just sent it out just to get it reviewed, to see what people thought of it. And one of the individuals that picked it up or got a hold of it was M&O, and he reached out to us. He's like, hey, I know your band. He goes, didn't you guys do a tour with Soulfly? I'm like, yeah. He goes, because his promo company, M&O Office, I think they did a lot of the promotion for that tour. So he's like, hey, do you guys have anything new coming out? I'm like, well, kind of, but we didn't really have anything set in stone yet. We were still like in the writing process and whatnot. What do you got? I was like, well, I have some demos, but none of it's, it's just demos. It's not going to sound very good. He said, just send it to me anyway. So I sent it to him. He's like, hey man, let's get together, let's work on something, let's release something. So all because of recording just the single Death Note turned into the EP that we have today, and that's how M&O picked it up, because we just sent it out to get reviewed.
Well, that tracks. M&O has a nice fingerprint in the business. Death Note's a banger, by the way. We'll talk about the tracks in a second, but yeah, that's how we also first heard that song first. And it's funny, I was actually just in that area, like Wilkes-Barre, Pittston.
Oh yeah,
I was just literally over there a month ago, maybe a little more, because I came through there on my way to and from Metallica in East Rutherford, right, which was crazy. And yeah, man, what a good time to be putting out some music. It's a very heavy year for music releases. I think we have probably reviewed more albums already this year than we did all of last year.
Oh, wow.
And we probably have about another couple hundred still to go.
Right.
Just whatever's on our radar, whatever we can fit. And we have a pretty vibrant staff of reviewers. But yeah, man, it's such a good time. It's such a good year for kind of this industrial metal and
about it.
We've been talking a lot about new metal making kind of a big comeback, but also like at the same time, Static X is touring and is putting out a new record, or I think that's been just delayed. Stabbing Westward back on tour and kicking ass. Many other bands. Filter with a banger new album. We have an interview we did recently with Richard that was amazing, and I just saw them on tour with Zombie. So it's all full circle. Maybe this is a good time to kind of capture that audience.
Absolutely, yeah. And you bringing up all these bands, and even Fear Factor too. Fear Factor's back out there with their new lead singer Milo. They're just tearing it up.
So good. Milo's incredible. We covered them live. I have yet to see them in person. I was actually at the very first date of the tour, and they had snow in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a total bummer, but I know they're gonna come back our way.
Oh yeah,
Northern Cali eventually. But yeah, that tour was probably some of the best production I've ever seen, and I like how many risks and chances Static X was taking visually.
Oh, absolutely,
to take it up another notch, and such a good performance and such a great show. Dope was on that tour.
Oh yeah,
So a lot of fun. You guys have been very strategic about you play, you tour, tour. Occasionally, don't overplay your hometown or your regional area too much, that I can tell. And now we
Right.
have this new record, this new EP. So how has the band changed, if any, from the previous music? Do you feel like you guys have, grown or changed anything in the formula, if you will?
We've definitely grown for sure, especially with working with Josh Balls. He beat us up pretty good in the studio. Because we always had this process or habit, if you will, of writing like 4 or 5 minute long songs, which is nothing wrong with that. But this EP, I think the longest song we have is like 3:48, something like that. So we really learned to just like neck things back and just write, a little bit stronger choruses than we had been before. And that's basically it. I mean, our writing style hasn't really changed too much. As far as our strong song structures are relatively the same, but we did add more elements in this song and in this EP. There's more elements in the songs than we've ever done in any of our other previous albums. Like as far as like the orchestral stuff, that's new.
Yeah, that was my next question. Oh, I see a pupper maybe in the background. And
Yeah.
we like all the pets. And
Yeah.
I met the most awesome dog at the bar last night. I had to,
Nice.
we were just all mugging for pictures with this incredible, beautiful, lovely pitty. Yeah, the orchestral stuff's a definite ear opener. And, I think that's the thing about working with different producers is they push you out of your comfort zone. And Josh would know a thing or two about, working on, very tight song structures and big choruses with Motionless and his
Absolutely.
production work on other bands too. So it's cool. It sounds like he really prodded you guys to kind of come out of your shells a little bit and maybe new approaches.
Oh, absolutely. Like we never thought about bringing in an orchestral side to things. Because Balls was always like, hey man, I love what you guys are doing, but I feel like you got like there's almost like a bit of a Dimmu Borgir feel in here that we could throw into your music that would just be fantastic. So, we were open to it. Like, yeah, dude, I mean, whatever you think's gonna work. And once we got everything together, even when it was just in bits and pieces in the studio, I was like, wow, this is probably literally the best stuff we've ever written.
Amazing. That's great. I love to hear the confidence, and you have to believe in yourself to make it in this business. It's so tough. It's
Yeah.
absolutely so tough. So it's great that you guys are feeling very strong about things. Let's get into a little bit of the track by track, and anything you want to share with us. I'll shout out the songs, and whatever you feel like revealing is fine. I know not everybody likes to tell all the secrets, but we try to get you to share with us listening out for. So of course the EP tears it open with Death Note, which is amazing.
Thank you, man. Yeah, Death Note was the main brainchild of Jonny and Twisty. When we were coming up with the idea, this was just supposed to be a single. Death Note was. Most of our songs are about serial killers, murder, and death. So we wanted to write a song. Those two wanted to lyrically write a song about a serial killer, but we wanted to twist it a little bit. So the twist on that song is the serial killer is actually a member of the band that winds up killing somebody, in the audience at every show that they do while out on tour. So that's basically how that song came to be.
That is a great idea, and maybe needs to happen. If only we get away with killing our internet detractors. I have my own. There's plenty of people who have that in for me, which is fine. It fuels me to excellence.
Sure.
Another great track and a fantastic title, 1,000 Ways to Die, is next.
1,000 Ways to Die. Yeah, man. That's just feeding off. I wouldn't say this is a concept EP, but it's very themed, right? So Death Note, which leads into 1,000 Ways to Die, and 1,000 Ways to Die basically tells you the song is basically saying, look, there's 1,000 ways. I mean, there's obviously more than 1,000 ways, but this song says there's 1,000 ways that a serial killer will come after you and kill you. That's basically what that song.
Right on. I was at a club last night, a punk show, and there's a banner, like almost looked like an old school high school banner, and it said,
Right.
"Have fun, don't die." And that was their mission at the club, among others. The next track is Prey, Prey.
Yeah, again, everything just falls right in line. So Prey is almost from the aspect of the serial killer himself, like just talking about how he's got dark days and there's dark thoughts, and this is the monster that I'm supposed to be, and it kind of dives into the serial killer story, basically.
Right on. We know, the human mind is a wild one, and we never run out of material. Do you have a personal favorite? Not that we want to glorify anybody's
Sure.
harm, but inherently, serial murder is fascinating. I don't know that there are any other creatures in the entire world that do this behavior. Seems to be a uniquely human behavior, as far as I can tell. Do you have a serial killer story or a serial killer tale that you're most attracted to?
Yeah, and this will actually lead into the next song on the album. Richard Kuklinski. They never labeled him a serial killer, but that dude most definitely was. But what was interesting about him is he had two completely separate lives, right? He would go out and he would do his killings, and then he would come back to his family like just a normal, average, everyday, run-of-the-mill Joe living in suburbia, New Jersey with his family. And like nobody was the wiser until he eventually got caught.
Right. They didn't have the pathology to define him at the time that he was doing stuff, I think. Not quite yet. I don't know if you were a fan of Mindhunter, when it was a series on Netflix a few years ago. That's the story of sort of the fictionalized version of John Douglas's backstory. He's the original father.
Okay.
Figured out how to, like, Fox Mulder these dudes psychologically,
right, yeah.
how to categorize. And they, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but one of the most infamous ones in the show and in history and that guy had a very droll, normal life, worked at the church as a clerk and as an office person, and then he would do these horrendous, horrible things.
Right,
escalated over time. So that's, thank you for that segue, helping me out. That's Every Day. And then the final track.
Sinner, yeah. Sinner's just being a serial killer living in plain sight. That's most of that song was written from the Twisty was on a kick. Oh gosh, what was the name of that TV show? I think it was called Dexter. Yeah. So Sinner, we've been sitting on Sinner for a while. That lets you know how long that song's been sitting in the pocket. Because that song was basically written around that show. But because how Dexter's character was, he's a CSI investigator, I guess, essentially is what he did, and and then he would just go out and kill these people. That was it good what he was doing? Maybe.
Right, taking out worse people than him, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a fascinating premise. It's a great premise for a show. I think there was definitely some great seasons in that show early, and then kind of uneven. I don't know how people feel about the comeback season last year. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was like right in the middle. Has some great moments. It's great to see. Michael C. Hall is incredible as an actor. He's also a singer. I don't know if you know. He has a band that's also kind of like a very David Bowie, 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, nice.
Kind of not quite heavy, but like it's really wild. And he's done Broadway and stuff like that. So fun times, man. What a cool rapping on this EP. And Sinner does seem to me, it does sound like the most like classically, if that makes sense to you, Suicide Puppets track. Sounds
100%.
Like your older material, maybe because it has some DNA that's lingering around from then. But super cool, great way to end things. And I'm very excited for this new chapter with you. Thank you for sharing all that stuff with us. What is coming up next beside the release of the record?
That's it for now. We were supposed to go to Europe this year. We're not sure what's happening with that right now, but we are doing another tour at the beginning of next year. That's going to be announced soon, so keep an ear out for that. But that's about it for right now. The music video for Prey is almost done in post-production, and that'll be out when the album drops on October 13th. We're very excited for that one. It's the same one, the same guys, same production company that did the music video for Death Note, which you can find on YouTube right now. We're very excited for that.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. Very fitting to have the record and the EP come out on Friday the 13th in October.
It's funny when the record label suggested it. I didn't even put two and two together at the time. I was like, yeah, October 13th. Yeah, like I knew most releases come out on Fridays, right? But I wasn't putting two and two together. Like a week later, I'm like, oh wait, oh that's smart.
Right on. Yeah, it's just good marketing. Spooky season, serial murder, industrial metal, all these things go together. I think I asked you this the last time, but maybe this is updated since we last chatted. As a final wild card question, what is your favorite scary movie? I can't do the voice.
No, we've never actually. No, you never asked me that last time.
Okay, I definitely asked you like some wacky question last time. So here's another one.
Scary movie, man. See it. Don't get me wrong. I love all scary films that are out there, but I like more of the campy stuff. So kind of like Army of Darkness or the original Evil Dead. Like, yeah, it was scary, but it was also, it was campy. So, anything with Bruce Campbell in it, I'm going to be a huge fan of.
Same. How wonderful is he? We lived in a time of Bruce Campbell. Whatever, but he should get all the roles and do.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's very, obviously, he's very versatile. He can do anything.
Oh, sure.
He was great in the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire.
Right.
And kind of showed up like sequentially as a different character in each movie. And then he was in the, I guess he was in the recent Doctor Strange movie also. Just kind of showed up.
Right, yeah.
Because it's Sam Raimi. He's a Sam Raimi guy, right?
I'd forgotten about that for a second until you said that. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
Brief little
And he's just
cameo.
so funny. He's just so funny. Veritas Suicide, a Suicide Puppet. So good to hang out with you again and catch up and talk about the band. I hope everybody goes and gets this record. We're gonna list everything in the description where they can find the music and pre-order and purchase and all those things and stream, because all those things help. Man, thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult again, and I hope to see you next time at a show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Keith. Appreciate it.